Right, hey, I'm Pascal from Orange Pixels hologram, I guess. This week I've been working on a bunch of things, but not a lot of them are visual. A lot of stuff has been happening in the code, in the backend, and maybe only 2 or 3 tiny things I can show you because I ran into some issues, and I am going to talk about those after the intro. So see you after the intro. So hey, can you press the button and turn me off again so that they can start watching the intro and the rest of the video? Alright, technology. Anyway, after the intro. Press the button. Hey, I'm Pascal from Orange Pixel, and I'm wrapping up last Monday's video, which that's how videos work. And I came to the conclusion I have a little bit of a problem for today's video because most of the stuff I did last week is not very visual. So, and since this isn't a podcast but a YouTube video, we need something visual. The problem is one of the main things I've been working on this week was sound. So sound design, but also creating a sound that actually gets softer the further it is away from the player, and you actually have it in stereo. So if it's on the left side, a waterfall on the left, or on the right, it all makes it's very cool. You can hear it, so I'm gonna show you a little bit of it, and then you'll hear it as well. So that's gonna be in the video in a bit. But the thing I spent most of my time on was a little problem I created for myself when I started this game, because so far in all the devlogs you've seen this planet full of green stuff, a lot of fruit and vegetation, and everything is there to survive. But the engine is actually capable of creating planets that pretty much have nothing growing on it, or at least they didn't have anything growing on it when the temperature was a certain height. So it was a very dry planet, no green stuff, no fruit, no sticks, no glucoberries for glucobombs, nothing, pretty much nothing there. And that's a problem if you want to survive and there's nothing there, then you're not going to survive at all. Alright, so I added cactuses, cacti, different cactus trees, plants, type thingies, and I actually had to Google stuff, what grows in a desert and what can you eat in a desert, and apparently you can eat a cactus. I think without the stingy parts, not sure. And a cactus can actually grow fruit, which I didn't know as well, and fruit seems to be full of water. So if you're ever in a desert, need to survive, find a cactus. That's what I added to the game. There are now cacti, to replace the fruit that isn't growing because it's too warm for fruit. I also added dry sticks because there can still be sticks just without the fruit on them, so that sticks are very much needed in this game. I can tell you now, grab as many sticks as you can because you're gonna be using them and needing them all over the place. Which brings me to the sound. This is a tiny little feature, but it adds so much, especially if you're playing with headphones on. Right now you can actually hear where a waterfall is. Is it on the left side of you or on the right side? The sound will actually tell you where it is. It will also get louder the closer you are, and that goes for all the sounds in the game. So campfires and everything, and falling rocks and stuff like that. You can hear where it's falling, where it's about, and it's just a very tiny detail, but I'm gonna go for the details in this game. There's a lot of tiny stuff going on, and it really enhances the whole environment, because the main character of this game, let's face it, is the planet that you're gonna be surviving on. So that planet needs to be interesting and entertaining and beautiful and pretty, and it needs to be something like this. So besides sound and the whole environment stuff, I also added some new flora or fauna, or well, one of those. I've added something like that, but I was watching a Star Trek, one of those movies, Beyond something, I think, and it had these flying, flowery type thingies going around, and it just looked awesome. So I wanted to add those to the game. They have something alien to it, a little bit of an insect type flower thingy, and they also sting the player when you actually touch them. So don't touch them. They look nice, but they're not. Oh. I also added a sort of plant pot which actually opens up when you get near it, and then it starts shooting darts when you get really close to it. And right now that's all it does, and that's all that happens, but you might be able to chop it down at some point and then actually eat it or cook it or boil it or whatever. But for now it's just a nice extra addition to the environment. And I've also been working on interface and improving it and changing it a little bit. I'm just still trying to figure out what the best fit is for the game. And right now I have a more minimalistic version of the interface than I had before. Kind of like it right now, but it might change in 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know. It's just trying to search for those things. The functionality of the interface is there and it's working. It's now just more trying to figure out how it should look and what fits the best with the game, and I want to have it very minimalistic and not very much in your face. So this transparent version, I think it works better than what I had, and we'll see in 2 or 3 weeks. It might be completely different, and we don't know. And that's it for this week's video. As mentioned, not a lot of visual stuff going on this week, but besides just the point I mentioned, there has been a huge amount of things changing under the hood, and I'm gonna get into them a bit more later on because most of them are just linked to stuff that isn't built into the game yet. So next week we're just gonna add creatures or stuff like that because that's very visual, and you guys had a bunch of comments already on videos, bats, spider thingies, and we're gonna add some of those type of creatures because the game needs to get more life into it. More creatures, more alien stuff. That's the task for next week. I hope I'll see you next week. Bye. So, what I came up with is cactus, cacti, cactus, various cactus type plants.